Blame is one of the heaviest burdens we will ever carry, and most of us have been carrying it so long we no longer notice its weight. We blame ourselves for not being enough, for making mistakes, for not knowing better when we were doing the best we could. We blame others for the pain they caused, for the love they withheld, for the ways they disappointed us. We blame circumstances, timing, fate itself. And beneath all of this blame lies a deep exhaustion, a weariness that comes from trying to hold the world accountable while our own hearts remain locked and guarded. The truth is this: peace will never arrive while blame still lives in us. Peace is not something we earn or achieve or find in perfect conditions. Peace is what naturally emerges when we finally, gently, courageously release our grip on blame and allow ourselves to simply be here now without the story of who was wrong and who was right. When we look closely at blame, we discover it is not really about justice or truth. Blame is a shield. It is something the mind creates when it feels unsafe, when pain enters and we do not yet know how to hold it without making it mean something terrible about us or the world. Blame gives us a target. It offers the illusion of control. If we can just identify the source of the pain, pin it down, name it, then perhaps we can protect ourselves from ever feeling this way again. But what actually happens is that blame keeps us frozen in the very moment we are trying to escape. It holds us in the story of what went wrong, replaying it over and over, each time reinforcing the wound instead of allowing it to heal. Blame is born from fear and hurt, and it survives by convincing us that if we just hold on tightly enough, if we just remember clearly enough who did what, then somehow we will be safe. But safety does not come from blame. Safety comes from returning to love. And love cannot enter a heart that is clenched in judgment. The cost of holding blame is far greater than most of us realize. We think we are protecting ourselves, setting boundaries, holding people accountable. And yes, there is a place for clarity and truth and healthy limits. But blame is something else entirely. Blame is the energy that keeps us tethered to the past, reliving old hurts as though they are happening right now. It blocks the flow of life. It creates a wall between us and joy, between us and connection, between us and the present moment that is always offering something new. When we hold blame, we cannot fully receive love, because part of us is still guarding against betrayal. We cannot fully experience abundance because part of us believes we were cheated. We cannot fully rest because part of us is still prosecuting the case, gathering evidence, building arguments. This vigilance is exhausting. It drains our energy, narrows our vision, and keeps us living in a story that no longer serves us. The present moment is always innocent, always fresh, always offering us a clean slate. But we cannot see this when we are looking backward, pointing fingers, insisting that someone must pay for what happened. And here is something many of us do not talk about. The body knows. The body remembers every ounce of blame we have ever held, every judgment we have made, every resentment we have stored away, thinking we could deal with it later. Blame does not simply live in our thoughts. It lives in our shoulders, which carry the tension of unspoken anger. It lives in our jaw, which clenches with words we never said. It lives in our chest, which tightens around a heart that wants to stay open but does not feel safe. It lives in our stomach, which knots itself trying to digest emotions we have refused to feel. Our brilliant, wise, patient body has been holding all of this for us, waiting for the moment when we are ready to let it go. Every headache, every backache, every mysterious pain that doctors cannot fully explain may well be the body's way of saying, I am still carrying this for you, and I am tired. The body does not want to hold blame. The body wants to flow, to breathe, to relax, to heal. And it is always, always waiting for our permission to release. So how do we begin to shift? How do we move from the familiar grip of blame into the softness of compassion? It starts with a willingness to see differently. It starts with the quiet acknowledgement that blame, while it once served a purpose, is no longer helping us grow. Compassion is not about excusing harmful behavior or pretending that pain did not happen. Compassion is about recognizing that everyone, including ourselves, is doing the best they can with the awareness they have. This does not mean we condone cruelty or ignore our own needs. It means we stop demanding that people be different than they are, and we stop punishing ourselves for being human. Compassion asks us to look beneath the surface, to see the fear that drives unkindness, to recognize the wounds that cause people to wound others, and most importantly, Sikhi. Compassion invites us to extend the same understanding to ourselves that we might offer to a frightened child. When we were harsh with ourselves, we were afraid. When we made mistakes, we were learning. When we did not know better, we truly did not know. Compassion is the bridge that carries us from the land of judgment into the land of peace, and it is always available, always waiting for us to choose it. Many of us hesitate here because we believe that releasing blame means we are saying that what happened was okay, that we are letting people off the hook, that we are diminishing our own worth. This is not true. Forgiveness, the kind that truly frees us, is not about the other person at all. Forgiveness is about refusing to let past pain continue to poison our present life. It is about recognizing that holding on to resentment does not hurt the person we blame. It only hurts us. We are the ones who carry the weight. We are the ones whose sleep is disturbed, whose relationships are guarded, whose joy is conditional. When we release blame, we are not saying that boundaries do not matter. Boundaries matter deeply. We can forgive someone and still choose not to have them in our life. We can release resentment and still honor the lessons we learned from the pain. Forgiveness is not weakness. Forgiveness is one of the strongest, bravest things we will ever do because it means we are choosing our own freedom over the satisfaction of being right. It means we are valuing our peace more than our story. And it means we are trusting that our worth is not determined by what others did or did not do. Our worth is inherent, unchangeable, and nothing that happened in the past can touch it unless we allow it to. There is something else happening when we blame others, something we often do not see until we are ready. The blame we project outward is almost always a mirror of the blame we hold within. The harshness we direct at others reflects the harshness we direct at ourselves. When we criticize someone for being selfish, we may be punishing the part of ourselves that wants to have needs. When we resent someone for being weak, we may be rejecting our own vulnerability. When we cannot forgive someone for failing us, we may be unable to forgive ourselves for our own failures. This is not about making excuses for anyone's behavior. This is about recognizing that our inner landscape shapes everything we see. When we carry a harsh inner critic, the world becomes a courtroom where everyone is guilty until proven innocent. When we learn to speak kindly to ourselves, to hold our own mistakes with gentleness, something miraculous happens. We begin to see others through softer eyes. We stop needing them to be perfect in order for us to feel safe. We stop needing to control their choices in order to protect our own hearts. The inner work of self-compassion transforms every relationship we have because it changes the very lens through which we experience life. When we are at peace with ourselves, we stop looking for someone to blame. We stop needing an enemy. We simply live and love and allow. But knowing this intellectually is not the same as living it in our bodies, in our daily moments, in the quiet hours when old patterns whisper that we should be angry, that we deserve to hold on, that letting go means we lose. So we need practices, simple and small, that help us return to love again and again. Begin with the breath. Right now, wherever you are, notice your breathing. Is it shallow, held, tight? See if you can soften just a little, allowing the breath to move deeper into your bell. Lie. With each exhale, imagine releasing just one small piece of blame. You do not have to let go of everything at once, just this breath, just this moment. The body responds to gentleness. It knows the difference between force and invitation. When we force ourselves to forgive before we are ready, we create more resistance. But when we simply invite a little more softness, a little more space, the body begins to trust us again. It begins to let go. Another practice is the mirror. Look into your own eyes and speak directly to the part of you that has been carrying blame. Say, I see you. I know you have been trying to protect me. I know you thought that holding on would keep me safe. Thank you. You can rest now. I am choosing peace. It may feel strange at first. You may not believe the words. That is okay. The subconscious mind is listening, and with repetition, new pathways form. You are teaching yourself a new way of being. You are giving yourself permission to live without the constant surveillance of judgment. Journaling can also be a powerful release. Write a letter to the person you have been blaming, but do not send it. Write everything you have been holding, every hurt, every disappointment, every moment you felt unseen or unvalued. Let it pour out without editing, without making it pretty. And then, when you have emptied yourself onto the page, write a second letter. This time, write from the perspective of your highest self, the part of you that sees beyond the hurt, the part of you that understands that everyone is wounded and doing their best. Write what you would say if love was the only voice you could hear. You do not have to believe it fully yet. You are simply opening a door, creating a possibility, planting a seed. Healing does not happen all at once. It happens in layers, in moments, in the small choices we make to soften instead of harden, to release. See, instead of grip. And please bring your awareness to your body throughout the day. Notice when your shoulders rise toward your ears. Gently lower them. Notice when your jaw clenches. Soften it. Notice when your chest feels tight. Place your hand there and breathe warmth into that space. Your body is not the enemy. Your body is your partner in healing, and it is so ready to help you let go. Sometimes, simply acknowledging the sensation is enough. You do not have to fix it or understand it or make it go away. Just notice, just breathe, just allow. When we begin to release blame, when we stop using so much energy to hold the past in place, something extraordinary happens. Peace stops being something we chase and becomes something we notice we already have. Peace is not the absence of challenge or difficulty. Peace is the inner stillness that remains steady even when life is uncertain. It is the quiet knowing that we are okay right now, regardless of what happened before or what might happen next. This peace does not arrive because we finally got everything right, or because everyone apologized, or because justice was served. This peace arrives because we stopped demanding that life be different in order for us to feel whole. We stopped outsourcing our well-being to other people's choices. We came home to ourselves. And from this place of peace, everything begins to shift. Relationships become lighter because we are no longer bringing the weight of old resentments into every interaction. We stop testing people, waiting for them to prove they will not hurt us the way someone else did. We meet them freshly in this moment as they actually are. Abundance flows more easily because we are no longer energetically clutching, protecting, defending. We open our hands and trust that life is generous, that there is enough, that we do not have to fight for every scrap of love or success or joy, that our health improves because the body is finally allowed to release what it has been holding. Tension dissolves, energy returns, the chronic aches that seemed permanent begin to ease. This is not magic. This is simply what happens when we stop living in a state of internal warfare. Peace becomes our natural state, not because we have perfected ourselves or our lives, but because we have stopped believing that something is fundamentally wrong. We have stopped searching for someone to blame for the fact that life includes pain, disappointment, and imperfection. We have accepted that being human means we will make mistakes. Others will make mistakes, and none of this diminishes our worth or the beauty of existence. We have learned that we can feel hurt without becoming a victim, that we can set boundaries without carrying resentment, that we can honor our pain without building our identity around it. This is the freedom that comes when blame ends, not the freedom from ever feeling difficult emotions, but the freedom to feel them fully and then let them pass, like weather moving through an open sky. You do not have to do this perfectly. You do not have to release every ounce of blame today or tomorrow or even this year. Healing is not a race. It is a homecoming, and you get to move at your own pace. Some days you will feel open and forgiving and light. Other days old anger will rise up, and you will wonder if you have made any progress at all. This is normal. This is human. Growth is not linear. What matters is the intention. What matters is that each time you notice blame creeping back in, you gently remind yourself that you have another choice. You do not have to follow that familiar path. You can pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what would love do right now? What would peace choose? Sometimes the person you most need to release from blame is yourself. You have been carrying the weight of your own perceived failures, your own mistakes, your own humanness, and you have been so harsh, so unforgiving. You have held yourself to standards you would never demand of anyone else. You have punished yourself for not knowing what you had not yet learned, for not being who you had not yet become. And all of this self-blame has kept you small, kept you stuck, kept you from stepping fully into the life that is waiting for you. So right now, place your hand on your heart and feel the warmth there. Feel the steady beat that has carried you through every difficult moment, every loss, every disappointment. That heartbeat is life itself, loving you, choosing you, believing in you, even when you do not believe in yourself. And let yourself hear these words. Let them land somewhere deep inside. You are forgiven. For every mistake, every misstep, every moment you wish you could take back, you are forgiven. Not because you earned it, not because you fixed everything, but because forgiveness is your birthright. You are a child of the universe, worthy of love and peace and belonging simply because you exist. Nothing you have done or failed to do can change this. You are forgiven. You are free. You are loved. As blame loosens its grip, you may find that you naturally begin to see the gifts that were hidden inside the pain. This does not mean the pain was good or necessary or something to be grateful for in a forced way. It simply means that you are no longer so identified with the hurt that you cannot see anything else. You begin to notice your own strength, your own resilience, your own capacity to survive and even thrive after difficulty. You see the ways that challenges taught you about your values, your boundaries, your priorities. You recognize the relationships that deepened because you were willing to be vulnerable and real. You appreciate the quiet moments of your own company, the self-sufficiency you developed, the inner resources you discovered when everything external felt uncertain. This is not about silver linings or toxic positivity. This is about the organic shift that happens when we stop clinging to one narrow story about what happened and allow ourselves to see the full, complex, multi-dimensional truth. Life is always both. It is pain and beauty, loss and growth, endings and beginnings. When we release blame, we open ourselves to the wholeness of our experience. And in that wholeness, we find a peace that does not depend on anything being different than it is. The invitation always is to come home, home to your body, which has been waiting so patiently for your kindness, home to your heart, which never stopped loving you even when you closed it off, home to the present moment, which is the only place peace has ever existed. Blame keeps us in exile, wandering through old stories, reliving old pain, searching for someone to hold accountable so we can finally feel okay. But peace does not live in the past. Peace does not live in the future. Peace lives here, now, in the willingness to be exactly where we are without needing to fix or change or blame. It lives in the breath that moves through us without effort. It lives in the ground beneath our feet, solid and steady. It lives in the sky above us, vast and open and never diminished by clouds. And it lives in the deepest part of us, the part that has never been touched by any of the stories we have told ourselves about who we are and what we deserve. You are that peace, not in some distant mystical way, but in the most immediate, tangible, real way. Beneath every thought, every emotion, every memory, there is a stillness that has been with you since the day you were born. It has never left. It has been waiting quietly, patiently, for you to remember it. And when you stop blaming, when you stop fighting, when you stop trying so hard to make sense of everything and control everything and protect yourself from everything, that stillness rises up to meet you. It wraps around you like the softest blanket. It holds you the way you have always wanted to be held. And you realize finally that you have been carrying the very thing you were searching for. Peace was never out there. It was always here, always you, always home. So let this be the moment, not the moment when everything is resolved, when everyone has apologized, when all the pieces finally make sense. Let this be the moment when you decide that your peace matters more than your story, that your freedom matters more than being right, that your life, your one precious, irreplaceable life, is too valuable to spend in the prison of blame. Take a breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice the life that is moving through you right now, animating you, sustaining you, loving you without condition. And choose, just for today, just for this moment, to lay down the weight you have been carrying. You do not have to know how to do it perfectly. You do not have to have all the answers. You simply have to be willing. Willing to soften, willing to release, willing to come home to the peace that has always been yours. The peace that arrives always when blame ends